Hey, Chris here. So I got a challenge about changing the background color because I have been sharing templates, but they've all got the same pale blue background color. So it's actually hidden in the background here in something called a cascading style sheet. So we're going to have a look at it. This first little part gets a little complicated, but I'm just using it to pick a color, and then we're going to show you how to do it in the background here. So I'm pressing F12 on my keyboard, and it actually goes into what's called developer mode, if it works for me. And it shows me all the elements of things going on here. So for example, if I click on the top here, select an element to inspect it, and I click here, it actually tells me all about it. And so it actually says it's actually coming from this theme, from this style guide, and the background color is this. And I can actually click on here and say, you know what, I want to change and see what it looks like if I do this color. And so it's just on a slider, and it's giving me this what's called a hex code for that color. So say I want that lime green here. I'm just going to copy that or remember that code, but I'm going to go back into my course in a second. So I'm going to remember that one. Let's jump back into the course in another spot. So I'm in the sandbox here, and let me just go back from the beginning. So instead of being in content, I'm going to go into the background here and try and change something. So I'm going to go to course admin, and yes, you can really blow things up if you don't be careful on this. Manage files, because I've done that. Manage files, so it's in the background here, template generic, assets, and then there's that CSS. And it's this style guide here that I want to mess with. And I don't want to mess with it right online. I'm going to download it and upload it. And you'll note I actually created a separate one. I'll show you that in a minute, where I just changed the name a little bit because I'm going to use its style sheet in a different one, because I'm going to have a different thing for grade 7s versus grade 8s. So here's the one I've got. Let's go ahead and download it. Okay. And it comes as a zip file. Actually, better yet, I don't want the zip file, so I'm just going to click on it. It'll actually throw down into downloads, into my downloads folder. So if I say, click on here and say show in folder, it's a .css, and it should open, if you double click on it, it should open in just a notepad. And so it's just all this gobbledygook in the background here. Okay, but the only thing I want to change is that background color. So I'll just get rid of my downloads folder here for a second. So I want to change that background color. So let's go back to what we were looking at. And it was this color I wanted here. I'm not sure that it matters about capitals or not, but I think it does. So I'm going to go ahead and use capitals when I do mine. So I'm going to go to my notepad, and it was this guy. And that's the original color. I'm just going to paste beside it here for a second, this one. And I'm just going to change. So it's going to be F2, FC, F4. And I don't think it matters if capitals or smalls, so I'm just going to leave it with capitals there. Let's see what happens, okay? So that's my new style guide. I'm just going to save it again. And I'm just going to now impose that over top in my files. I'm going to upload the one I just did. So there it is there. And it's going to ask me, you sure you want to do that? You're going to have to overwrite it. So carefully don't change anything else in there. Overwrite. Okay, so I got called away to the phone. I hope I'm in the right place again. So I've replaced that style sheet, which means if I go back to this one and let's go back into the content here and have a look. That should now be that green in the background instead. So that's kind of fun. The second thing I did was I said, okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take that notepad, and I'm going to do it right now. And I'm going to change that color to something else. And I'm going to resave this as a different name. So let me go back and pick a different color, because this helps me pick a nice color there. Oh, I like that purple one. I'm going to grab that color. I'm going to take my notepad, and I'm going to say, okay, I want that color instead as my main background color. So it's F2, F4, FC. Get rid of that guy. But this time I'm going to save as style min. I'm just going to stick a number 7 here for like my grade 7 class is going to have a different color scheme, or it could have English or math, whatever you want to write in there. Save. And I'm going to upload that into the background. So I'm going to go back into my files here. I'm going to upload that one. Upload. Okay, so that style sheet with a 7 should be in here now. And if I want to point to that from one of my templates, I'm going to go back into back up a little bit, find one of my templates. So these are where they were originally. I'm going to make a copy. There's my grade 8 one. I think I'm going to base it off my this one, for example, I'm going to make a copy of that one. And I'll just hit paste. So there it is there. I'm going to edit this guy. And I just want to say in the background here, don't point to the original style sheet, point to my new one. So it was called, bring it back over here again for you. It was called style.guide.min7. So style.guide, not to be confused. So this one, style.guide.min, I'm just going to change that to a 7. Okay, save. See how it changes the color in the background there? Save. And I'm just going to rename this one as my grade 7 template, for example. Whoops, didn't mean to edit there. I meant to rename it. Rename. Don't get rid of the HTML. Grade 7. So if I'm back in my content, it did nothing to this guy. Didn't change this one because he's still going to the original template. But if I want to create a new file, create a file, template, let me find my grade 7 one. You know, it's got that new kind of mauve or whatever you call that. So I'll call that grade 7. Save and close. So I definitely recommend when you first are in your background there, download one of those style sheets, the original one, and keep it off to the side in case you make a mess in this one. You can always re-upload the original one. But if you do make a mess in here and you upload, then you're kind of euchred unless you can find the original one again.